Hello, friends. I'm Maggie Ostara, and if you're new here, welcome, welcome. Happy to connect with you. Today, we're going to look at the solar eclipse that is happening on February 17th in Aquarius. So let's remember this would be a new moon, but it's an eclipse because the moon is going to travel over the face of the sun. It will only be visible really in the southern hemisphere. Nonetheless, we all feel the energy of an eclipse. Today, we're going to take a look at what gate in the human design system the eclipse is in. It's in the gate 30. It's a super potent gate. So we're going to primarily focus on that. And then also the fact that the gate 30 is connected to the gate 41 right now because Pluto is in the gate 41. So we have a complete channel that is also being lit up here. So I will let the astrologers go more into the deep dive of the sacred geometry that's happening here because it's really profound what's going on this month. It's really profound. I will give you the human design point of view on that. Okay, let's go ahead and dive in. During a solar eclipse, we always have the moon and the sun in the same gate. That's what happens at a new moon as well. So both of them right now are in the gate 30. The gate 30 is known as desire in traditional human design or passion in quantum human design. Generally, when we see this gate defined in a chart for a person, is we amplify the intensity of the chart by 10. Okay, it's a huge marker of intensity. And so if you've got it, you probably know what I'm talking about. So this is going to be a really particularly intense eclipse and new moon because it's in this gate 30. So let's unpack what the gate 30 is about a little bit. So it's in this sensing circuit. It's on the emotional solar plexus, so it's emotional energy, right? And you may think about that desire, passion, right? So it absolutely is emotional. And the sensing circuit is right-brained energy. It's creative. It is embodied. It's experiential. It's expanded, right? And it also has a storytelling element as well. And so this is creative energy, and it can give you a lot of fuel for what it is that you want to create. And you want to be able to do this with deep passion that is coming from the heart of hearts of you. Okay, in traditional human design, it was called desire, which can be its shadow expression, where we're really kind of tapping into lower desires, if you will. Unfortunately, we've been seeing a lot of the expression of that on the world stage lately, right? So we don't want to have like desire, right? Which can easily go into anger. It can go into lust. It can get really kind of intense, but it's controlling and it's manipulative, right? And that's the thing that we want to watch out for with this intensity. But then the other aspect of it is if we feel that we don't have desire or we don't have passion, we feel disconnected from that. So you want to watch out for that as well. But really the empowered expression and the awakened expression of the 30, you want to tap into that passionate energy that's emotional, that's coming from the heart, that is really connected to, to spirit, to the cosmos, to the deeper truth of who you are, and isn't the part of you that gets manipulated by desires, like desires for food or desires for sex or desires for having people act the way you want them to. Because desire can really be manipulated. And so passion is a higher expression, which is more about our personal expression. It's not so much about what we're trying to get. So you want to watch out for that when this energy comes up, and it's so strong. In the I Ching, which is what the human design gates are based on, this particular energy is called clinging fire. I mean, that's how intense it is, right? So we want to be able to grab a hold of it and direct it in a way that is beneficial for us. Let's remember that emotional energy is highly creative, right? Emotional energy, what you focus on and what you give your emotional energy to is what will manifest in your life. because of the intensity of this energy, it's even more important than usual for us to be in command of the kind of emotional energy that we're expressing, and that we're expressing it as passion. Because desire, like I said, can be manipulated. So the distinction between passion and desire is an interesting one. I think that we as a collective are also kind of unpacking this right now, because a lot of the things that we might have thought were passion, we realize we're kind of either being manipulated by, or outer forces were trying to send us in particular directions, or we allowed our own kind of belief system to lead us into just seeking desire and not fostering our passion. So my suggestion for you is that you do foster your passion during this time, and that you find something really creative, a way to express yourself. And that can be something as simple as singing or dancing or writing or painting, right? But some way that you get to express it, because expression allows the energy to move, right? And we want the energy to move. If you suppress it or ignore it, right, it can build up because it's a powerful energy. So this is a great time for you to get together with some friends, potentially play some music, do something creative together, talk to each other about your passions. Because remember, this is the beginning of the whole astrological year in Chinese astrology. So what are your passions moving forward? What are the things that you want to bring your own soul fire that comes from your heart of hearts into? What is it that can light you up? And notice if you're allowing yourself to be too caught up and entangled in the noise that's happening in the human world right now. And the human noise is big, and I'm not saying that there isn't anything to attend to, because there is. At the same time, I really want to encourage you to be in command of your own energy and command of your passion, and not allow your passion to be co-opted and kind of pulled down into some kind of darker story, because that's not really going to serve you in the long run. It might tweak your desire to be righteous or to be right, or, all that kind of stuff, but that's not going to really give you the best of what you want moving forward. So the other piece to this is that Pluto is in the gate 41, and the gate 41 is the mate of the gate 30, so it creates a complete channel. So that channel in traditional human design is called the channel of fantasy and desire, because the gate 41 in traditional human design is called the gate of fantasy. But in quantum human design, it's been renamed the gate of intention. So let's unpack this a little bit. So the gate 41, where Pluto had returned to at the end of last year and is going to be in the gate 41 for another about 3 years, is right at the beginning of Aquarius. And as I said, it's known as fantasy in traditional human design, or imagination in quantum human design. And so fantasy suggests an ungrounded kind of wishful thinking, or pie in the sky, isn't really going to happen, isn't really using your imagination in a way that's going to empower you. It's more about allowing yourself to be pulled away by fantasies of what could possibly happen. But there's no real solidity to it or groundedness in it. And in fact, it can be pretty disempowering if you're living in a state of fantasy. But if instead you choose to embrace this as a energy for your imagination, right, for your creativity, because again, this is in the sensing circuit, so it's creative energy. And that imagination is creating new possibilities, is imagining what the new era could be like, a world that works for everyone, where people have the resources they need to be able to live a good life, and they're not so heavily concentrated in among just a few people in the world, which is the way it is now. And so use your imagination, and then bring your passion in, right? Bring in your emotional energy to fuel the power of that imagination. And this is why it's intention, because what is intention? Intention is when we imagine something we want to come into being, and then we give our emotional energy to it. So this is a perfect example of that. Now, remember, remember that Pluto, the god of the underworld, is going to be there saying, let's get rid of the stuff in your imagination that doesn't work for you, right? That all of the things that you may have been taking in, whether that is something from your streaming services, whether it's entertainment or it's things from the news, which these days is pretty dark, right? Are you allowing those things to co-opt your imagination, or are you protecting your imagination? Because some of the things that we are seeing being put out on the internet now are not things I would recommend that you look at, because once you see them, you can't unsee them. And a lot of times they kind of lock into your imagination, and you can, just kind of spiral around on some of those images. And there's all different kinds of images that are happening. So I'm not going to say a specific thing, but just to say, take care of yourself. Be mindful of what you're taking into your psyche. Protect your imagination. It's one of your superpowers, your imagination. So I'm not saying to live your life in ignorance, but also be smart about what you choose to expose yourself to, because it is just too easy these days to be exposed to things that you're going to take a lot of time to process. And like I said, the images, you can't unsee them once you see them. So my friend, please take care of yourself, right? Because you want your imagination to be a faculty for you and for the new earth that we're creating. And so you want to be able to supercharge it with your passion rather than feeling like you're trying to heal it because of things that you chose to look at. Okay, so this is an incredible opportunity for us to grab a hold of this energy of the 4130 and to be bringing forth imaginations and fueling it with our passion. And the trick here, okay, is that we need to hold on to whatever those visions are that we create until it's the right time. Because take a look at where this is in the chart. It's all the way down at the bottom of the chart. The 41's in the root, and it connects to the emotional solar plexus, right? It's all the way down at the bottom. It doesn't have access to the throat, which is where we are expressing and activating and manifesting from, according to the law of human design. So it's not anywhere near the throat center. So this is a quality of energy that we need to hold on to. We need to be patient with, but we can foster it. We can juice it up. We can add to it, and then be tuned into when would be the right time to actually start to bring this out into the world. So I know that can be a little tricky, because if you get really excited about a vision and you get your passion involved with it, you're like, let's go. But it might not be the right time. And let's remember, even the greatest idea offered at the wrong time, it's either falls flat, it takes a huge amount of energy to bring it into form, right? So one of the biggest things we learn from human design that is so beneficial for us is right timing, is bringing things in at the right time. I know I've been really tuned into this in my own life, where I keep getting the message, right? It's not the right time yet. And now I'm starting to feel like it is starting to be the right time, and the right time for certain things. So you want to just keep checking in with your human design authority about when is the right time for you to be doing certain things, because your authority can be really helpful with that. But if you don't pay attention to it, you could allow your enthusiasm to carry you away to start something when it's really not the right time. Now, having said that, as a quality of the 4130, I also want to say that the larger cosmic context is very much moving towards the right time to start new things. We have a whole series of ignition points that are coming up now. This is actually one of the first ones, because it's the beginning of the year of the fire horse, right? And then in a couple of days after that, we have another ignition point where Saturn and Neptune meet up at the 0 degree of Aries in the gate 25. And that is the creator degree. And it's really like another indicator of the beginning of the new era. And then we have more in March that are coming up, and we have the equinox that's happening there. So there's a continuation of more ignition points. And then when Uranus finally moves all the way into Gemini in April, all of the outer planets will have moved fully into their new signs. We've been in this kind of back and forth for the last 18 months or so, where Pluto was the first one, right, who moved into Aquarius and then retrograded back into Capricorn and then moved fully into Aquarius over a year ago now. But then Uranus is the last one to fully move into its new sign of Gemini. And all of the new energies are based in fire and air. Very different than where the outer planets were all in earth and water signs before. So this is that huge change that we're in, that the outer planets are showing us. There are many other indicators, but that's just kind of really the big tableau, if you will, is that they have all moved like that. So that's going to be another go signal when we get into April. So if you're starting to feel like the energy is moving, you're starting to feel like you have more desire or more passion for new things, for moving forward, you're right on time. I just always want to encourage you also to be using your authority to tune into, is it the right time? Because you don't want to waste that energy if you kind of put it out too early. I recently released a separate video about riding the fire horse, and it's not so much about the astrology so much as about our particular opportunity. I'll put the link for that down below so that you can check that out if you haven't seen it already. In that video, I mentioned a new quiz that I've created, which is called What's Your Midlife Awakening Archetype? And it's a fun quiz, and it has some beautiful results for you that you can use to try to see where are you on your journey of awakening, and what are the growth edges that would be great for you to be focusing on during this time. And then also, what are your best next steps? What is good for you to focus on? So I invite you to check that out. Of course, it's, anybody can take it. It's particularly focused for women at midlife, because that's tends to be the people that I work with. And I think it's a really important topic for us to be looking at, because we are in such a deep transformational time. And the question is how do we use our energy, and what are we choosing to focus on as we go forward? Like I said in this video, we're really being called to get clear about what we want, so we can focus on that rather than all the things that are breaking down, or the things that annoy us, or the things that we're frustrated about, or things that we're sad about, because a lot of things are passing away, and instead be able to really focus on what we're bringing in. And I don't mean that you shouldn't have grief about things that have lost, like if you've lost a relationship, or you've lost a job, or you had to move, or whatever it might be. We want to have time to be able to grieve things that we've lost, because there's a lot of things that are dropping away. And at the same time, we also really want to focus on what is it that we're calling in, because the more of us that do that, the faster it's going to come. So the quiz will help you determine that a little bit for yourself. It's like a little bit of a map, like where are you on the journey? And then it'll also give you some tools and some practices that you can do to move you along that journey on your path of awakening. So I hope you'll check it out. It's really fun. People have been really liking it, and I would love to hear about how it lands for you. All right, my friends, feed your passion, but be patient. Foster your imagination. Try not to fall into fantasy. Be in passion, not in desire. Notice if there are ways that there's outside forces that are wanting to co-opt your energy, wanting to co-opt your imagination, wanting to get you to focus on things that are really not good for you to focus on, and to pay attention to what you're allowing into your psyche. Be vigilant about that, because it's getting louder and louder out there, and you really want to be in command of what is going on in your mind. Your mind, it can be a scary place if you are allowing things to come in that are not in your highest good. So pay attention, be aware, love yourself, and we will all move into this new era together. Many blessings, much love. Bye for now.